Example 3 in Stat 101 Examples Class 2 is using Excel to draw a histogram. So it's producing histograms in Excel. We're going to be using a file which you'll find on the Stat 101 website. It's a file of commuting times in Brisbane. Brisbane commuting time it takes to commute to work. So the first thing we need to do when looking to draw a histogram is to check on the data ribbon to see if we've got data analysis available. If data analysis is not available, we'll need to go in and click on the Office button, which is the button at the top left. We'll need to select Excel Options, click on the add-ins, and then in the Manage box, select Excel Add-ins. Press Go and select the Analysis Toolpacks as shown. Click OK, and Data Analysis should appear in the ribbon at the top right. Now we've got Data Analysis, next thing we can do is to sort our data. Sort in ascending order so we can see where the smallest value is and the largest value, so we can decide on the ranges to put our data into. So we're going to go into Data and we're going to sort in ascending order, so smallest to largest. Excel sorts the data for us, so we can see that our range goes from 14 minutes, scrolling down to the end, up to 34 minutes. So next thing to do is to choose some suitable bin sizes. Bins are the ranges that Excel puts the data into, so this will determine the number of bars that you get on your histogram. So we're going to choose a bin size of 3. We need to go in and physically type in those values into Excel, but we can use the tools of the spreadsheet for clicking and dragging to extend the series at any time. Excel will fill in the missing values for us, and this will give us our bin range. Now we have the data and we have the bins. We can go into Data, Data Analysis, and choose the histogram option. Choosing the histogram option, pressing OK. We're given the choice of filling in the input range. This is your original data, so you can either type in the range or highlight the range that you want, and Excel will put those references into the box for the input range. Next we need to select the bin range. Those are the values that we typed in across the top, remember? Those are our bin ranges. So we highlight the bin range and Excel will fill those cell references in for us. Next thing we need to do is we need to decide where to put our output. Where do we want the graph to appear? So clicking on the output range, we need to select a suitable area on our spreadsheet that the graph can be entered into. So selecting C6, that will be where Excel puts our output. Next thing we need to check is that the chart output option is ticked at the bottom. Without the chart output being ticked, we will actually not get the histogram that we want. So checking those things, everything okay, we press the OK button and Excel produces the frequency table and the associated histogram. Next thing to do is to resize the histogram. Get it to the size we want, and this can be done by grabbing the corner and dragging to make it bigger. Any of the corners to make the graph bigger, so we can see the graph more clearly and see the bars of the histogram, and the range across the bottom are the bin ranges. What we can do is click on the frequency at the right hand side and delete that to create some more space for our plot if we want to. We can also go into the More option on our frequency table and delete that so the More doesn't appear on our graph. Next thing we want to do is go in and select suitable titles and suitable axis labels as well, both the horizontal axis and the vertical axis. usual by just clicking in the text boxes and changing the title to something more suitable for our graph. Brisbane commute times, suitable for this particular example. Bin we can change to the time in minutes. We should have a label on there to say what the time is measured in. And frequency is perfectly fine to leave on the vertical axis. We haven't got a histogram as yet. We still have gaps between the bars. At the minute it still looks like a bar graph. So to turn it into a histogram, we need to close up those gaps on the bars. This can be done by clicking on the bars, right-clicking on the bars, selecting Format Data Series, and setting our gap width to 0 by sliding that gap width slider across to the no gap option and pressing close. You will see that the bars have been closed up together. At this stage there are several things we can do with our graph. We might want to put more distinct lines around the individual bars to make sure that they're quite distinct, because Excel uses that blue colour. We might want to change the border colour and have it a solid black line so we can see the difference between the individual bars. We might want to go in and change the colour of the bars completely. Use all of Excel options. Don't be afraid to just have a go and try different things to give the best output for you. We can change the fill colour there to get rid of the blue if we're printing in black and white. The next thing we notice about the histogram is that Excel does not put the labels on the horizontal axis in the correct position. There are actually several ways of changing this. The best way is actually by adding a text box and positioning those values where we would actually like them to go. So if we insert a text box, we can draw that text box by just clicking where we want it and dragging to form a text box. Once we have that text box, it's then a matter of entering the values, the horizontal values, and positioning them where they would like to be. They should be at the ends of the bars instead of in the middle. So we're positioning that 13, that 16, that 19, that 22 to join up with the right hand edge of the bars instead of that central position where Excel puts them. Once we have all the values there, we're just using the space bar to space them out at the minute, but we might want to change the text size, or we might want to readjust by just dragging the text box over the original values to cover those up. Then we can make final adjustments to make sure that the values are exactly where we'd like them to be. Once we're happy that those values are in the correct position, then we're able to print out our histogram should we wish to. So that's using Excel to produce a histogram. The Excel file is available on the web page, the Stat 101 web page, if you would like to have a go at drawing this histogram yourself. That's the end of example 3.